Hey everyone, it's Alec with It Takes Guts. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm back with more Chainsaw Man. I have not talked about Chainsaw Man on this channel for a couple of months at this point. Not that there's nothing to talk about in the story. I've been following each chapter, but nothing that's really been grabbing me to say anything really on a video. So this new one, chapter 198, really cool stuff happening. Crazy plot twist. If you have not read chapter 198, get going. You got places to be. This new stuff right here is worth talking about. So let's get into chapter 198. So, chapter 198 starts off with us back with this new girl who we assume is the Death Devil. She's talking about saving humanity, and that's kind of always the weird way that people talk about killing people. So, I'm thinking that it's the Death Devil. Denji calls her out in this chapter saying, you know, that's the Death Devil. We're going to be justice and bring the Death Devil to justice. And the new girl says, no, I'm one of the four horsemen. I'm Famine. I'm the Famine Devil. Call me Fammy. And I'm sitting here like, no, we know Fammy. We've been having multiple chapters with her throughout part 2. Why would you be Fammy? And then this is when the Falling Devil comes in, and then we learn that the Death Devil is actually Fammy. She says, like, I'm sorry for using your name. The Famine Devil that we knew as Fammy is actually the Death Devil. And I think this is a crazy fun plot twist. I know some people online are talking about the maybe bad implications or poor judgment or bad narrative, but I don't think so. I really think it's a cool way to do this whole final tie-up of this arc right now. A character that we've kind of gotten close to. She's had some gag panels before eating. It's really cool to see that this is now the main... I don't know if it's the antagonist per se, but definitely someone's going to cause a big stir in this final arc right here, because it has to be. It's the Death Devil. This is meaning big news, so I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't know what this means. I think as a Chainsaw Man fan, this is finally the reason for us to go back through part 1, or part 2 I mean, and actually read some of the stuff with Famine, check out some of the panels, kind of look at her a little more closely. That's what I like about these kind of reveals, these kind of manga, just, you know, revelations or plot twists that makes you go back and look at each panel with the character and be like, what were you doing? What was really up here? So I'm really excited to see that. Specifically, one panel in the public safety kind of building where Fammy had to go and bust out or move with the whole really weird cloaked, like, skull-looking figure with the guillotine in the middle. And honestly, I didn't know what to think about that. I thought it was a really cool devil design, and I just kind of moved on from it. I was like, that's Fammy. That's what she's doing. But looking back now, that's the Death Devil. The guillotine, that's a Death Devil. Like, is that not death? That to me is like a giveaway, you know? So I'm really excited to see where this goes. Now, I gotta talk about the Falling Devil just for a moment. That's one of my favorite devils in part 2. So cool to see them come into the panel again. I love how it's just basically an arm of the Death Devil just coming in. Chef's choice, cuts a bunch of people up and puts them on a platter. Like, just seems super eerie, super cool. The paneling of the Fallen Devil when it was shown the first time was so excellent. So I just like seeing them back. Now, the ending of this chapter with Fammy, the new Fammy now, talking to her big sis, the Death Devil, saying, is there anything you want to save humanity for? Like, just die for the sake of humanity, because, you know, you're the Death Devil. And the Death Devil just kind of lifts up her shirt and says, I already removed all of my organs. Like, I tried. I can't really die. Which is crazy. I don't know what this revelation means in the scheme of where we're going with this antagonistic view of the Death Devil. I think they're still an enemy, but, like, if they've already tried to, like, solve the issue themselves and they can't kill themselves by removing their organs, like, I guess the only options for Denji to, like, erase their name with Chainsaw Man, like, you know, that's where I'm kind of going with this. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws with this. It's a really interesting ending kind of framework with how we got this whole Death Devil story set up with this whole prophecy. We finally meet her, learn that she's part of the crew the whole time, but learn that she's kind of already trying to kill herself, but she can't. I don't know. That's how I read it, and it's really interesting stuff. I do not know what Fuji's cooking in terms of where we're going from this. Like, it just seems so bombastic and so weird to have the final version of this be happening like this, but regardless, I'm here for the ride. I hope it's a good one. I know Fuji always has these weird kind of long takes before he finally gets to the point of something, so I'm interested to see it. I love how the story's going. I'm excited to see what happens with this Death Devil. Now, I want to use this chapter to kind of talk about Chainsaw Man Part 2 as a whole. There's a lot of conversations about it. Many people have a lot to say about what Fuji's doing with Denji's character. Is he stalling out the growth? Is Asa going to get more attention to have her have a full story at the end? There's a lot of emotions that happen in this last kind of part of Chainsaw Man. If it even is the last part of Part 2, maybe I'm kind of thinking ahead, but I think in total, I've been wanting a little more of Part 2. I've been wanting a bit more. And that's only because Part 1 was so good. I think Part 1, front to back, was a really good story. Awesome characters of power in Aki and Makima. Really good storytelling about Denji. And the way it kind of ends tragically with Denji not really learning anything, I think that was a really, potent moment of, like, Denji's not really learning anything. He's just still saying that he doesn't really, hate Makima for all the things that she's done and used him for. So I think it was a really interesting ending, and I understand why Part 2 happened. There's more to tell with Denji. He can grow more. He can learn more. He can be more self-fulfilling, but where we are in Part 2 right now, we have not really seen that hammered down a lot. These character moments haven't really hit Denji where I think they should have. I'm not saying Part 2 is bad as a whole. I'm just saying I'm waiting for it to really hit its stride. I know we're pretty far into it. I think we might be almost more than Part 1 already with chapter length, but at least number-wise. So I think there's more to tell. I'm still interested. I think Chainsaw Man is still worth reading week to week. I think what Fujimoto has done with this story is worth our time. I think the characters are worth our time. I'm interested to see how this wraps up. I don't know if it's going to be a JJK situation where all of a sudden we got 5 chapters left, but I'm really hoping that we're able to get some really good story out of this last part. The Death Devil seems interesting. The setup is really unique. It's not so antagonistic. It could be a really good way to kind of add more character depth to Denji or Asa, or maybe even Yoru, or maybe the new Famine Girl. I'm interested. I just hope that Fuji really starts hammering in on these character growths, these emotional storytelling paths, because we've been missing some of that key stuff, and nothing has really hit like the Aki snowball fight that I've seen so far in Part 2. There's been stuff there's been close stuff, but that's what I'm kind of looking at for a bar right now. That's all I got to say today. This end of chapter was such a weird reveal with the organs gone that I don't really know where we're going to go with the Death Devil character-wise. I'm really interested. There's probably a lot of online theories about all the different panels, and I'm sure people are looking through the past panels about what Fami was doing and kind of what she was saying to get some hints about the future of this story, but let me know what you think down below. Did you like the reveal? Did you like the Death Devil plot twist with Fami? Was that cool? Let me know. Do you like Part 2? Do you think Part 2 is going to end well? Story-wise and character-wise, do you think these characters are going in a good path to have some actual, interesting, thought-provoking stuff happen? I'm interested. I want to keep reading the story. I want to hear what the fans think too. Let me know down below. Give a like to the video if you're still here. It really helps us out. And you already know it takes guts to subscribe. So thank you for watching and have a great rest of your day.